All right, welcome to our April Executive Board meeting. I'm going to go ahead and start by calling the roll. Let's see, let me make sure I'm in the right place here. Okay, so starting with the roll, Kevin Pryor, President, I'm here. John Fernandez, Vice President.
I'm also here.
Yes. Chuck Unruh, Vice President of Finance.
Present.
Mike Hoffpower, Secretary.
Here.
Randy Bauer, Member at Large.
Present.
Leela DeCon, Member at Large.
I'm here.
David Hayter is flying, so he's probably not going to join us tonight. Lakshmana Vishwanath, Member at Large. He's not on at the moment.
You do that so well. I could never do that as well.
I practiced it, Randy. I'll be honest. I practiced it. Renee Bartlett, Executive Director.
Here.
Okay, great. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? All right. I didn't hear any, so we'll now move to the financial report. Vice President Chuck Unruh.
Thank you, Mr. President. March was very kind to us. Much kinder than April will be, I'm almost assured. Talking about March, we're still, when we looked at the budget, we're still under a little, somewhere around 150,000 under what we expected for membership revenue. But on the other side, February to February or March to March, we're up about 18% on the month as far as membership revenue. Now, of course, the dues changes did come in January, and we are expecting to have a much better revenue pattern going into the end of the year. It's still troubling as we go to budget how we will budget for next year. We only budgeted a 2% increase in membership revenues. So if we were to stay the same, we might underperform. So we'll be giving that a lot of thought as we go forward, because membership revenue is one, if not our best net profit situation. So that part of the organization appears stable. Financially, through March, we're very, very solid. We're actually $460,000 or so ahead of budget, 461,700, and it looks like $16 on the bottom line above budget. Now, we still have lost $208,000 for the year, but we expected to have much larger losses. Once again, going back to early in the fiscal year, we had a horrendous event loss. Cost controls, they're working. Our G&L, our costs, they're probably for 90% below in the categories, meaning that 90% of all categories are coming in under budget, while one or two may peak a little bit, but nothing outstanding. The cost controls are working. We're really watching on the operational side what we're spending and how we're spending it, trying to get the best for our dollar. Events still haunt us. There are two things going into April that will haunt us, even though we did fine in March. And the one, of course, is the unbelievable swift crash in the markets. We were very, very conservative, but there's a point to where credit becomes unstable, and they do a throw the baby out with the bathwater in our bond portfolios. And that has been happening. There are just wild swings every day on rumors. So going into the end of the year, I am anticipating that we will have a $250,000 capital adjustment or loss. We were ahead for the year several $100,000, and I think we're going to give it all back. Now, our income from our investments, relatively the same. The income should not change. Things would really have to fly apart. Dividends would have to be cut. Bankruptcies from JP Morgan to Bank of America would have to happen. And if that happens, we have a much larger problem since we bank at Bank of America. Don't really know what's going to happen here. This is uncharted territory. It's not Smoot-Hawley of 1930. This is so different. The global trade is much larger. The markets, for example, when I started the market, the Dow was 800 and a good day was 70 million shares. Well, one stock will do 70 million shares anymore, and the market's been as high as 45,000. How far could it go down? Don't know. I think that we've taken a conservative attitude with 50% of our funds across all portfolios. About 50% of our funds are in insured FDIC banks, various banks. We're not all in one bank. We're very, very careful. Now, I said there were two things that were bothersome, but as I finish up here, the surprise in the last 2 days on the markets has been that the long-term interest rates are actually increasing. We would think as things fly apart that the Treasury bond yield would start falling, but it's radically changed in the last 2 days, and the yield curve has steepened. What does it mean? It means if we have losses and the yield curve remains high, then recovering those unrealized losses will probably won't happen because we've had an adjustment to longer term interest rates in the assets. So the second one, and I hope to have an update, is participation at Supernationals. And Supernationals, of course, even if we break even at Supernationals, it would end the year with good cash flow. Now, remember that the investments are they're unrealized capital losses, and they're not about cash flow, not at this point. So I would ask our executive director, do you have an update on Supernational participation?
I do. Right now, we're looking at registration just over 4,000. We had hoped it would be a little higher at this point. We do have an announcement that will be going out on eBlast in that 3 of the hotels have extended the chess rate for another week. That was going to expire on the 7th. Instead, the chess rate will go up on the 14th. So we'll be sending that out for Rosen Center, Rosen Plaza, and the Hilton.
Do we have a sensitivity to participation at this point, such as if we have only 5,000, we anticipate a shortfall of X? If we have 4,000, a shortfall of Y?
We
In other
have
words,
some.
what's our break even, basically?
Yes, 6,000.
6,000 is what we had budgeted for this event. And so that's what we're hoping to see come in.
Because break
Some of-
even, it's not just number of people who participate in the tournament. It's hotel pickup as well. I mean, you could have 5,000 people from Florida and still bust the budget because nobody's getting hotels.
Good
True.
point.
And yes, and so we're also seeing, we have not met our minimums yet on the hotels, and I think that's why they've extended the deadline on the chess rate for another week. We'll have a better idea next Monday after that deadline passes. And as Chuck mentioned, membership revenues are up because of the dues increase, but the numbers are holding steady. So at the end of March, we were still sitting at just over 116,000 members. So that part has not changed from my previous reports that I have provided. Also, since our last meeting in St. Louis, we were able to hire an administrative assistant named Brian Harting. You've probably seen the
Another
announcement.
Brian.
Another Brian, that's right, spelled Brian. He is focused heavily on membership right now at first in terms of those duties. And Corey has reported that our voicemail membership backlog is down to nothing because he's able to answer those calls. So hopefully better customer service for our members. And then he'll be also adding duties in complaint processing, as well as acknowledgement letters, and splitting his duties among the different departments, membership and development. We also had posted and closed postings for an events manager. That's a full-time job and a part-time graphics assistant. I hope to be able to have an announcement on those positions later this month.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Renee.
please note for the record that Vish has shown up.
Okay.
So, Chuck,
So we need super nationals to work. Our reserve fund is approximately 300,000. So losses greater than 300,000 are going to be very detrimental to the bottom line.
so Chuck, I'm curious because, as you said, what's happening with the yield curve is kind of different than what we would expect. Is that because of concerns about stagflation?
It could be more concerned about dumping of treasuries during the trade war. We don't know yet. Could we have stagflation? It's hard to have stagflation with oil going down every day. Because everything as in Oklahoma, our food travels about 1,200 miles to get to us. So as oil goes down, so does the price of delivery.
So I mean, that's not
Could
what's
we
gonna
have
happen.
stagflation? Of course, Randy, we could have
Okay.
that.
I mean, okay. Well, yeah, well, anyway.
But I see more deflation than I do stagflation.
Well, well, we'll see.
You could have both, really. I get it.
Well, you can't have deflation and stagflation, but you can have stagnant growth and inflation, and that's my concern.
Well, I think you could have stagflation where prices hold steady and your payrolls and everything else are decreasing, and you have deflation.
Well,
On
I
some
mean,
goods and services.
that's a recession. I mean, yeah, right.
Well, we're probably going to have a recession when you cut your credit card by 1/5. I mean, we were using 1/5 more in the federal budget, and we're trying to cut that. We being,
By
conservatives.
having a lot of Americans unemployed. That's harsh medicine, Chuck. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
Chuck,
but
is there any more to your report?
But as far as US chess, we're solid currently. Our cash is in good standing. My concerns are just as everyone's concerns right now are for the future. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, we are now going to move into closed session, and we'll see you when we return. All right, we are back and we have finished our closed session. We're now here in open session. We do not have any motions to vote upon. I can just make sure that I let everyone know that there was recently an email that went out reminding folks to be ready for the executive board vote. I would like to encourage everyone to register. If you're not a voting member, then your voice is not being heard. Out of our 116,000 members, the numbers are pretty small for registered voters, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,000. And then, of course, everyone doesn't always vote. So if you really want your voice to be heard, please go to your US Chess dashboard and look on there where there's a button that allows you to inquire about becoming a voting member. So with that, I'll ask if we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved. The second?
I think it was triple.
We well,
So
then
that's
People
it's
agreed. All right, so all in favor, say aye or raise your hand. or both.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so we are adjourned. Have a good night. And the next time we talk, we'll be Super Nationals, which is
Wow.
exciting in Orlando.
Hey, Renee,
Thanks again. Good night.
well, after you stop the recording.